On Sunday Sport tonight, the start of the National Hurling League campaign. Dublin travels south to take on Waterford. In club football, we have action from this afternoon's semi-final between Kilmurray-Ibrickane and Portlaoise, a game with many talking points. And also on the programme tonight, trial by video. Is the referee's word no longer final? Hello and welcome to the programme. Well, the Alliance National Hurling League campaign may have got underway this weekend, but that doesn't necessarily mean that spring is here with us. Indeed, the weather has been decidedly wintry this weekend, causing a disruption of the GAA fixture list, and more about that shortly. But first, though, let me introduce my studio guests here on Sunday Sport tonight. Paul Flynn and Martin Carney are here with me to reflect on the weekend's big matches, while the Tyrone manager Mickey Harte and Seamus Woods, who is the chairman of the Central Competitions Control Committee, will also be with us a little bit later on. But first to this weekend's Alliance National Hurling League campaign. Now this, of course, is the first round of the new campaign. So, by way of setting the scene for the weeks ahead, let us first of all reflect on last year's league campaign. Here's Marty Morrissey.
While the 2009 Football League began with much fanfare as the GAA celebrated a landmark birthday, the Hurling League began with an altogether different mood. Trouble flared once again in Cork as their hurlers refused to play for the reappointed management team of Gerald Mack and his selectors. The issue rumbled on for much of the campaign before Gerald stepped down to be replaced by Dennis Walsh. While Cork were busy fighting, Kilkenny were busy putting all and sundry to the sword, handing out ferocious beatings to Galway, Tip and Cork on their way to yet another league final. Their only defeat coming in Walsh Park, where the Déisi exacted some revenge for the mauling endured in the previous September All-Ireland final. Dublin continued their steady progress under the stewardship of Anthony Daly. With Galway minus their Portumna contingent, the tribesmen finished the campaign well in third place. Clare's form suffered badly and were relegated, while Offaly and Wexford topped the second tier, with the faithful making a welcome return to top-level hurling, winning the Division 2 decider. Ultimately, though, it was near neighbours and great rivals Kilkenny and Tip, in a dress rehearsal for the championship, who played out a marvellous league final, won by the Cats after extra time, and who'd bet against them for the season ahead.
We were hoping, of course, that the new campaign would get underway with the marquee game between Kilkenny and Tipperary. Now, that game was to have been played under the lights last night at Semple Stadium, but the weather had other ideas. About an hour before the scheduled throw-in, the snow began to fall, and obviously concerns were raised fairly quickly about the safety of the playing conditions, leaving referee Barry Kelly with little option but to call the match off.
To be honest with you, it's like as if there was 200 hurling balls coming down out of the sky. It was really hard, you know. Maybe we're showing our old age, but for looking up in the sky, it was going to be really hard with the helmet on just to see the ball. We could have done with one of those orange soccer balls maybe, but no, I think we're overall right decision.
Barry Kelly had no choice whatsoever. Wonderful conditions were beginning to get dangerous, and visibility was poor as well.
It just wasn't to be, and hopefully we'll get a refixture. I think both counties are hoping to have a refixture for Tuesday night at the same venue, so hopefully we get to go ahead.
Reality is, when we have training on Tuesday nights, those players arrive for training, so I don't think that should be a problem.
And that match has now indeed been rescheduled for Tuesday night at Semple Stadium with an 8 o'clock throw-in. But now let's move on to another of this weekend's Alliance National Hurling League matches. Now that was the meeting of Waterford and Dublin at Walsh Park. Now Dublin heading south on the back of a heavy defeat by Galway in a tournament game last weekend. The commentator on this one is Ger Canning.
On a sun-splashed afternoon, Waterford give league debuts to 4 up-and-coming players. Jerome Maher and Liam Lawler are starting in the full-back line, while there are starts in the half-forward line for Maurice Shanahan and Tomas Connors. Against them is a very strong-looking Dublin team, featuring Ronan Fallon at centre-half-back. The Vincent's man missed a lot of last season through injury, at the end of which Alan McCrabb, number 15 today, was named a Vodafone All-Star. Batted back out here again towards Richie Foley. Foley, the UCC player, well blocked. Still breaks, however, to Tomas Connors, older of the two Connors brothers. Maurice Shanahan now looking for a support player. Back it goes towards Jamie Nagle, having to hit it from a fair old distance out, and that is a splendid score. The product of some very good understanding by Waterford players. Maurice Shanahan then showing patience and wisely playing it back to Nagel, and that's a great shot. Gary Maguire pucking, cut out here once again by James Murray, linking up with Kevin Moran. Strongly built De La Salle player, has played everywhere and anywhere for Waterford. Think of him as a centre-half back. He's made a lot of ground. Gary Herney striking! It's in the back of the net. Big Gary Herney from Abbey's side, getting the opening goal in the 7th minute. And a lot of the credit will go to Kevin Moran. Took it forward strongly, laid it off at the precise moment. And Gary Herney with a devastating finish. Back come the Dubs, looking for scores, and that's one back at least. Nicely done that time by Shane Durkin. Shane Durkin knifing his way through, plenty of challenges there, shortened the grip on the stick, put it over. Dublin's second point. Back out it comes once again. Malumphey driving at a fair old distance, broken down to Kevin Moran, and the terrible twosome up front. Gary Herney and Kevin Moran have wreaked a fair amount of damage on the Dublin defence, and Waterford still have the possession. Kevin Moran striking it over his right shoulder and dropping it beautifully over the bar. He's been the star of the first half so far. In stoppage time he's got a 4th point, and he's made it 1-9 to 6 points. Again, given too much room, but it's great shooting. Kevin Moran's in there challenging. Malumphey takes control of the situation as befits the captain. Back out towards Moran, took it in his stride. He scored one already in this half. Back to Malumphey, darting back in again. Blocked down well, Gough got there. So too did Stephen Heine. Gough under pressure now. Maurice Shanahan, awkward angle, saved by the goalkeeper, and buried into the back of the net by Shane Welch. It's a second goal for Waterford. Dublin were under siege. 40 minutes of the match gone. It's only Shane Walsh's first score, but he's a poacher, and Malumphey did it all here. Traded passes, blocked out initially, persisted. Finally the ball broke back here out of this area with Maurice Shanahan picking out Shane Welch, and he applied finish. It's 2-11 to 6 points, and Waterford are very definitely in command. 2 players going for it for Waterford. It's Michael Brick-Walsh linking up in the middle of the park here with Richie Foley. Denied possession, however. Beautifully stolen. McGrath darting inside. Back out it comes again. Held on to here by David Tracy. Tracy lets fly, and he puts this one over the bar. Second point of the match for the Milcoola player. And will that see something of a late fight by Dublin? They edge a little closer, but they need a goal, you feel. 2-11 to 10 points. That's a poor puck out. Straight here to... Oh, it was Rush who was hitting it. Well stopped by Clinton Hennessy. Real goal chance presented itself immediately there, following that point by David Tracy. A clash over on the far side, and a Dublin player's gone down. I think it may be Alan McCrabb. It is. Perfectly fair challenge, except he got the stick. So after a delay of about 7 or 8 minutes, Alan McCrabb is taken away by ambulance. We understand it's an injury to his leg, either a cruciate or just below the knee, but it does look a serious injury to Dublin's all-star, and let's hope he's back playing very quickly. Again, the backs do a very good job this afternoon. Tidy play by Noel Connors. Out here into the middle of the park. Richie Foley, we've mostly seen him as a wing back in the past. Again, problems for the Dublin full back line. Malumphey trying to come through, and the team captain gets the 3rd goal for Waterford. Stephen Malumphey stealing in from midfield. Dreadful Dublin defending. Simply brushed aside by a man who's only back in the country a week after 6 months